This video is a podcast interview with one of my coaching clients, Otavio. Otavio closed his first 4K deal with only 172 followers, which is insane. So I decided to jump on a call with him and break down his strategy, talk about his Twitter strategy, how he was able to close such a high-ticket deal with just a few followers, what he did on Twitter, and also talk about Instagram, why he didn't want to start but finally started an Instagram profile and what's the plan there. So I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this video. Watch it till the end because Otavio is showing you exactly step by step how he was able to scale to 5 figures without even having 1,000 followers. Alright guys, I'm here with my man Otavio, who is the client of mine for like 3 months or something like that, and he has a crazy story because he is the only client of mine who started from complete scratch, and he has a crazy story about like closing a 4K deal with 170 followers, which is like again crazy for a personal brand with such a small audience, such a big deal. We're gonna talk about that, we're gonna get into that, but before that, Otavio, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself, about your background? We can start from there, and then I have some interesting questions that I think like every agency owner would like to know about like your business basically.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tim. Basically, I about 3 months ago realized, coming across Tim's stuff, the importance of having a personal brand, of growing that side of things, like long term especially, but also in the short term to get deals. Just build that trust, have people come to you, not be sending cold DMs all the time. I realized the importance in that, and so I decided to work with Tim, and it's been a great decision. Like he said, with only, I wasn't expecting it, but with only like 173, I think it was, followers.
Yeah.
I had a guy DM me saying that he needed a VSL done, and ended up closing that deal. So basically, I'd for about a couple of months now, I had worked with people to help with their sell their online courses. And so I kind of started in I was going to do landing pages, but then I realized what I was really good at was the VSLs, writing those for people. And then as soon as I pivoted to that, started, putting myself out there, doing all the things that are part of the program. That inbound lead came through at 173 followers on Twitter. I still don't understand how it works, but yeah. And ended up with that. Was great.
Baby. Inbound leads, awesome. So just to give you a quick background so everyone understands what you do, basically like when you came to me first, the only thing that you had was a solid case study, because you actually like helped a good guy scale to how much, like 25K a month? What was the case study?
Yeah. So I'd helped an account previously. It was kind of a friend of mine, and he sold like a very low ticket course to like basically teenagers. So it was a pretty tough niche to do well in. But I managed to find a way to stand out there, and we did quite well in a niche that people don't really make that much money. And so that had that case study, and I think it was more about the value that I got from that. I was able to transfer that, and I think that's why ultimately the client decided to work with me, even though I only had 100 followers or anything, because he realized that I could provide value through all of my tweets, all the things that I've been putting out there, like the content.
Yeah, exactly. So basically you had this case study and an experience, and then you decided to start an agency based on this and go after Twitter eventually, and we're gonna get into that because you also started on Instagram just a couple days ago, but Twitter's been great, and you started putting value out there, and this is how you got your first inbound leads even before you hit 200 followers. Again, it is insane. I personally didn't have such results myself. I closed my first deal, it was $250 at 250 followers, so I was making $1 per follower on Twitter for a very long time. You did what, $22 per follower during your first couple months?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's insane. All right, so can you tell me a little bit more about what was the strategy for Twitter? Of course, putting value, posting this stuff about VSLs and everything, but what's been working great for you specifically? And this guy came to you, but what was the reason? How do you think he found you in the first place?
I think it's kind of having a kind of funnel that you go through. So I was obviously, first of all, you have to start with just putting out good content that if someone sees, they'll immediately recognize you as an expert. Okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And what's good with Twitter is you can really take time and really write something out that provides a lot of value to people. It doesn't have to be necessarily the public is, they're not necessarily looking for so much entertainment and flashy edits, but you can really provide value. So that's number one. I think pinning the case study that I've like done a VSL, and the VSL was the main revenue driver for my client. I think that was big because it's the first thing they see. I think another thing as well, posting daily, consistent, because then they saw that I'm active. But obviously all of that is irrelevant if people don't see it. So I think the big thing that got him to see my profile was commenting every day and like getting
Yeah.
out there, interacting with people, because I even think I know what account I commented on that he then saw and then went to follow, went on my page, checked it out, and
Right.
it's basically like a resume of what I can do, let's say. And then I think that's
Exactly.
when he DM'd me. I think that's a
Yeah, I like that. And basically, the good thing about your strategy and how you approach the whole like agency game and Twitter is that you just like started doing a lot of stuff at once. I mean, at the beginning, I remember we talked that you started to spend like 2-3 hours a day just doing Twitter. And even though you had like 0 followers once you started, and the first basically 1,000 followers is probably the hardest one to gain, but you left like so many comments, you posted so many tweets at the beginning of your journey that basically you made the success like inevitable, which like I mean I like it about you, honestly. And also it shows that you don't even need a budget to get started with getting high ticket clients on Instagram. Yes, right now we mostly use paid strategy that you are about to start, but Twitter, like, it's completely free. Nobody limits the amount of comments you can left on other tweets, and this is how you got your first clients. But definitely like posting great content. And then I like your point about pinning the right case study, because when you just start, you need to build some credibility in order for you to make this high ticket sales. And you had like only one case study, but you just squeezed everything out of it. You posted it as a like pin thread. I remember you just posted like random tweets about it like over and over again. And on your VSL, you also had it as a main thing. So basically, even with just one case study, it's just like how can you leverage it like for as much as possible. Yeah, that's awesome. And how did you come to the idea of building a personal brand in the first place? I mean, you had 0 followers. Why did you decide to go with personal brand instead of like all this like cold emails, cold calls, I don't know, Facebook ads, all other crap? Why is personal brand?
I think someone who helped a lot with that was seeing Alex Hormozy. He's someone I look up a
Yeah.
lot to in business. And like just him like knowing that he's like massive business guy, you know, like he's not a small fish, and he's going all in on personal brand. So seeing these huge brands going like all in on that, these people who are like really big and respected and serious about business, being so serious about building a personal brand, I just found that a question of like I know I have to eventually. If I miss it out now, like even though it seems like you're late, like you're still early to build something like this, because if you start now and you really are consistent with it and try build it, I don't see people who fail, you know, if you keep at it for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and that's the horizon that I'm thinking on, is like a longer time horizon for sure. And then it just became a question of finding the right person to help me do that. But in terms of wanting to do it, I think it was just seeing like how you can get results so quickly, and it just makes the whole process a lot more like stress-free in terms of not having to every day have to chase your next client, where you can start, you can build something that compounds. Like eventually you get to a point where people are just coming to you, you know, you're not having to constantly go chase people.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I remember myself like talking to you like during our first or maybe like second call. You really have this like long-term vision. So you're not thinking about like how can I get as many clients as possible now and then kind of, you know, stuck with fulfillment and everything. That's why we eventually came up with this like growth partner offer, because you're actually building long term, which I like about you. And when you approach social media, you should always do that, because again, first 1,000 followers is the hardest one. Mr. Beast got to his like first 1,000 followers in like what, 3 years or something, and then we all know who Mr. Beast is now. So that's definitely the part of the process, and everyone will get there if they'll just stick to the plan, basically, which you did. All right, man. So what's the plan with Instagram? You just posted your first video. Can you tell us this this funny story like of me trying to convince you to do this stuff for what, like 2 months? Why did you decide to start eventually?
Yeah, so originally I didn't want to post on Instagram. I only wanted to post on Twitter. I think I just was more comfortable there, and I didn't really want to show my face.
Yeah.
But now I recognize the opportunity that I'm missing out, and I realize that in the end it doesn't really matter. It's just a massive benefit for something that is just a question of of showing your face pretty much. And I think with I think a big thing that you helped me like convince me to do it is the fact that like video just makes you trust people more. Like I recognize that if
Yeah.
I could do that on Twitter and have someone trust me enough to work with me with a low number of followers on Twitter, like imagine what I could do on Instagram. And then I also obviously saw your success in like the first month when you went back on Instagram, and I
Yeah.
realized, okay, there's like a pathway here. I just take the same pathway because I know I have an offer that's proven and something people want and can help. And then obviously also long term, I recognize eventually I'm going to do it. There's no way. Like eventually I'm going to be showing my face and doing this. So why not
Yeah.
just make that decision now? Otherwise I'm just missing out on a whole lot of growth that I could have had.
Exactly, exactly. And as Alex Ramosi said on like some of his podcasts, he said that eventually everyone will have a personal brand. It's just a matter of like how big it will be. And you decided. If you start it now, of course it will be bigger. Maybe it will take you longer than it took him, but still, I mean, even having 20,000 highly targeted followers in current economy, it's an easiest probably way to 6 or 7 figures. Depends on how you monetize them. Dude, I'm like super honestly happy about you starting on Instagram, because honestly, like for me, after Twitter, Instagram feels like a blue ocean. There are so many potential clients, and money Twitter is probably what, like 200,000 people or something like that. And once you start sending DMs every single day, you quickly realize that it's limited. There are, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a bunch of clients to onboard. There's like potential to scale to, I don't know, like $50,000 a month, but still it's limited. Instagram, there are billions of people on Instagram, and it's so easy to reach them out with like profile visit ads that you're going to run. We're going to talk about this like on our next call, but yeah, dude, super happy about that. How do you feel yourself? I mean, about starting on Instagram and like your first video, how do you feel about posting it?
Good. I feel good. I feel excited. I think it's just now a question of time. I think I'll use the fact that I was like hesitant to do it to make sure that first video is really good. So because if you put out quality, then there's just no question around it. Like you're just doing your best. What can people say? So
Exactly.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. But I think don't get too happy now. There's a lot of work to be done still of like just consistently doing it and then starting to see results.
Yeah, of course. All right, and let's say there is someone who is just like you at the beginning, who just, you know, researched some topics about like personal brand and thinking if it's worth it or not. Maybe he doesn't want to show his face very often in his content or stuff like that. What would you recommend to this person? Like, can you tell us how does personal brand affect your life? I mean, in general, your business specifically.
Yeah, so I haven't even seen the full benefits, I think, of what I'm doing because I'm only still in the beginning. But I think, like, even with that, I can already say, like, you just have to do it. If you're actually taking business seriously and want to build it up, or anything really, because you can, that's the beauty of it, is you can always pivot. You can always do something else. And now you have this following, you have a base where, like, everything you're doing is, like, compounding on itself. So, like, you're not sending 1,000 emails a day where if you stop, you have nothing. Where if you keep posting every day, you stop, you still have something. You still have an asset there that you can use to do for anything. So that and just that thought of like missing out on that opportunity, and how everyone is like more and more people will be moving to social media, and it's just trusting people on social media, looking to learn from people on social media and work with people on there. I think it's just a no-brainer if you really take business seriously. So take the, you know, whatever limiting beliefs you have around it and really try to like learn about them and like understand why you're having them and overcome them, because if you're gonna do it eventually, might as well do it now, you know?
Right. It's better. It's always better to start earlier, because it's inevitable that you need this personal brand in the future. It doesn't matter like what kind of business you want to start. Everyone now has a personal brand. I mean, Elon Musk selling like Teslas through his personal Twitter account. I mean, he owns Twitter now, obviously, but doesn't really matter. Everyone essentially starts a personal brand in the current economy. So you definitely need this. It's just a question of how fast you can grow. And on Otavio's example, you can see that you don't even need a big following to be able to close these high ticket agency deals. So yeah, as you said, it's a no-brainer. All right, man. So anything else you wanna discuss? I mean, maybe you have an advice for someone like being in the same situation as you. I mean, feel free to promote your stuff as well. Like, what are you doing now? Like, let us know about your offers, and we'll just wrap it up.
Cool. So for advice, I would say, like I said, what I finished off with, like, start as soon as you can, because it's all it takes. And the start is always the worst part. So like it only gets
Yeah.
better from there. And then when the wins come through, it's very much worth it. So definitely start. And
Yeah.
then in terms of my stuff, yeah, I'm sure you can pop up like the socials I have. I'm only
Yeah.
starting on Instagram. I'm only starting on both, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely be growing on both. And right now I am working with creators who have a following already to better monetize that following through info products. So if you know someone with a big following who wants to better monetize it, then
Yeah.
you can work with me for sure.
Yeah. And basically, I saw your case studies with I mean, with people who had a following, had no money because they just didn't know how to monetize, and how you, by launching this course without even like person working on the course on the back end before like seeing the money coming in, and it's crazy. So definitely, guys, if you have a following, then reach out to Otavio. I linked his Instagram and Twitter below this video, and also go check his Instagram content, because honestly, I was shocked how high quality content could be if you never created a single video in your life. So it's like his first video was probably better than like my videos like 2 months ago, but I've been doing it like what, 3 years. So it's crazy how much work and effort you can put in, and then like what kind of results you should expect. So it's crazy. Go check them out, and yeah, follow this channel for more videos like that. Thank you so much for like being here with me, and yeah, man, let's just crush it with our businesses.
Awesome. Yeah, Tim, thanks for having me.
And a quick note before you go. I'm looking for a few more agency owners and coaches to help them scale to 30 grand a month using the strategy that I call social sniper. So we use Twitter and Instagram to build a personal brand on these two platforms, and then we use a sniper DM strategy to book calls, to scale, and to close high ticket deals. So if you want to learn more about the strategy, DM me the word scale on Instagram and let's chat.